in that moment, this statement or question just appeared out of that blind spot. Like, maybe I could ask for healing from my own migraines. I started experiencing migraines when I was 10 years old. And one of my earliest memories was going into a dark room with a pounding head and vomiting. Migraines were in my family. My dad had severe migraines. By the time I was in college, there was a period where I was getting them every day, and I started on my first medication trial, a tricyclic antidepressant. I then went to medical school because I'm a physician, and my headaches got worse, not surprising. And I tried just about every medication that was available. In addition to none of them really worked. In addition to prescription medications, there were times that I couldn't break a migraine and I had to go to the emergency room and get narcotics to break it. I tried other things. I tried acupuncture when I was pregnant. I tried chiropractic adjustments on my neck, massage, Reiki, yoga, all of it. And what I noticed as I got older is that my life was getting smaller because of my migraines. I avoided a lot of things. I avoided gluten and chocolate and red wine, and I couldn't be a passenger in a car because I was really sensitive to motion, and so my lovely husband has been my front seat companion for our whole marriage. It was hard, and my specialty in medicine, I'm an ophthalmologist, and so I'm really fascinated by blind spots. And that event that I went to in July was not my first Dr. Joe event. It was my 12th. And they were amazing, all of them. But I bring that up to say that I never thought that healing my migraines was a possibility. I'm almost embarrassed to say how much of a blind spot I had. I experienced huge mystical experiences during a lot of those events. I had amazing experiences healing, but anytime I'd sign up for an event, you know how there's that box, like, do you want to sign up for a healing? It was just no. And so that event in July was a little different because I have 4 children, and it was a dream come true because 2 of my children accompanied me to that event. My 24-year-old daughter and my 21-year-old son. And the week was just extra magical. It was just, I was in just huge experiences all week. I was just in such gratitude that my children were getting to experience this, meet so many generous, amazing people, have these experiences. And what was really interesting in that the first 2 Coherence Healings, we always lined up together, but we just randomly got separated, so we were never in the same cage. And the third event, the last day, it just so happened that we were lined up and we ended up sitting next to one another in the healing. And when I say it was overwhelming love, I can't even, my son was on my right, my daughter was on my left. We were in such coherence. They were crying, I was crying. The healing was beautiful. And it came to that point where Dr. Joe says, now bring the love back for yourself. And I was just in such joy, like I had never experienced. And as a physician and a mother of 4, I'm much better at giving than receiving. And in that moment, I was just lost in, I couldn't believe what a privilege it was that we got to do this healing. I couldn't believe that I got to sit alongside my children. I think that the part of me that my heart had been broken over and over as a young physician, being in ERs and operating rooms where the healing was not like that. This healing was generative. It was as nourishing for me as it was for the person on the floor. And in that moment, I didn't feel enough. I was enough. And I was worthy. And this statement or question just appeared out of that blind spot. Like, maybe I could ask for healing from my own migraines. Oh, and I forgot to mention that in the months leading up to that July event, my migraines got much, much worse. I began to have complex migraines. So I would get an ocular aura where I would have a Mark-Sheen scotoma and go blind for a period. I would have periods where I would get so vertiginous and dizzy that I would have to lay in bed for a few days. I even had episodes where my husband's also a physician, and it was kind of hard with some of my aura beforehand to know if I was actually having a stroke because I'd lose words or if I was having a migraine. And so my husband, who's here, is amazing, asked me a few months before that event, he said, maybe, Aveen, it's time for you to go back to traditional medicine and see a neurologist, because I had kind of given up on it, to be honest. And so it took me a lot of months to get in with a neurologist, and as luck would have it, my appointment was it was Thursday of that event. The event started that weekend. And that neurologist had me sort of write down and really give a log of my experiences. And I realized that I was having 17 migraine days a month, 17 to 18 days. And that again was in my blind spot, because I think I was just in survival. I was just not even aware of that. And so in that moment, during that moment when we were focusing ourselves on that healing, that question arose, like, what if I could ask for my migraines to be healed? And I was in that open awareness, that vibration, that I kind of understood that just asking the question, it was already done. And I had this experience where it felt like something was getting pulled out of my head, and it was like a weed getting pulled out, and all the roots came with it. And I just had an absolute knowing that it was done. But I've seen enough testimonials to know that I still had to show up and do the work. And so I doubled down. I was so excited to go home. That was almost 3 months ago. And I can tell you that since that day, I've had a total of 0 migraines. And I've eaten gluten. And I've ridden the back of a bus. So I'm so, so grateful.
Aww. Is that an example of truth? Now think about this. What pearl of wisdom from this person, what has she taught you from that story that you may want to experience? Think about this. She was healing another person, and she got caught up in this reverie of elevated emotional states, and she felt so grateful to have the privilege of giving life to another person's life. Somehow, she connected to something really profound. She was grateful that she was doing it with who? Her two creations, her 2 children. The 3 of them were lined up for the 3rd one. Everything worked, everything lined up for her. And if she's feeling gratitude, gratitude is the ultimate state of, here it comes. Maybe, what if I could heal? I mean, it's just it's a possibility that her heart spoke to her. Her heart, the creative center, tells the brain, dream. Dream of something that's within your reach, and the first thought that comes up is that future, is that experience, and she's worthy in that moment. She feels whole. She feels like it's already happened. And she has her experience. The experience is real. It is real. She healed herself when she was healing another person.